Welcome to the Royal Heritage, your premier destination for captivating and educational content on world royalty's rich history and heritage. Delve into the fascinating world of history, kings, queens and dynasties as we uncover the stories behind majestic palaces, legendary monarchs and enduring traditions. In the history of nations and empires, there are few moments as puzzling as the 1954 transfer of Crimea from Russia to Ukraine. It was an event shrouded in mystery and speculation, a decision that changed the map and set the stage for conflicts that persist today. Why would Nikita Khrushchev, leader of the Soviet Union, sign away this valuable and historic peninsula? To understand, we must explore the threads of history, culture, politics, and personal connections that shaped this decision. Still, before then, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel, like, share, and stay updated on all our latest videos. Crimea has always been a land of crossroads. Over centuries, it was ruled by the Kievan Rus, the Mongols, the Crimean Tatars, and the Ottoman Empire before being absorbed into the Russian Empire in the late 18th century. This long history made Crimea a land of layered identities and overlapping claims. Crimea became deeply integrated into Russian culture and administration for over a century under Russian rule. When the USSR was established, the region was considered a cornerstone of Russian territory. Yet, on February 27, 1954, a decree from the Soviet newspaper Pravda stunned the nation. Crimea was to be transferred to the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, Ukrainian SSR. The official reasoning was straightforward. Crimea was geographically close to Ukraine, and economic ties between the peninsula and Ukraine were significant. But to many, these reasons seemed insufficient to justify such a monumental move. The reasons behind Khrushchev's decision have been the subject of much debate. One explanation ties closely to Khrushchev's personal history. Though born in Russia, Khrushchev spent much of his early political career in Ukraine, working in mines and later rising through the ranks of the Ukrainian Communist Party. His ties to Ukraine ran deep. He even married a Ukrainian woman. Khrushchev's great-granddaughter, Nina Khrushcheva, suggested in an interview that this decision might have been a personal gesture. She believed that Khrushchev, who held a special fondness for Ukraine, wanted to mark the anniversary of Ukraine's merger with the Russian Empire by symbolically strengthening the bond between the two republics. Another theory focuses on the aftermath of the Holodomor, the catastrophic famine of 1932 to 1933, which claimed millions of Ukrainian lives. This famine, often described as a genocide or crime against humanity, was caused by Joseph Stalin's policies. Some suggest that Khrushchev's decision to transfer Crimea was a subtle apology or an attempt to rebuild trust with Ukraine after such a dark chapter in its history. A more pragmatic explanation points to the economic burden of post-war Crimea. The peninsula had suffered immense devastation during World War II, and rebuilding it was no small task. By transferring Crimea to Ukraine, Moscow may have hoped to shift some of the financial responsibility onto Ukraine's administration. While Moscow still supported Ukraine economically, Crimea's reconstruction would become part of Ukraine's budget, easing the load on Russia. Some scholars have speculated that the decision was part of a broader attempt to decentralize the Soviet Union. After Stalin's era of extreme centralization, Khrushchev sought to reform the USSR, granting more autonomy to the individual republics. Transferring Crimea might have been a symbolic gesture in this effort to reduce central control and create a more cooperative union. During Stalin's rule, the Crimean Tatars were forcibly deported, leaving a population largely composed of ethnic Russians. Some believe that keeping Crimea within the USSR but under Ukrainian administration allowed Moscow to maintain influence in Ukraine through this Russian majority, laying the groundwork for future political leverage. Looking back, it's important to remember that in 1954, no one anticipated the collapse of the Soviet Union. To Khrushchev and his administration, Crimea's transfer may have seemed more like an internal administrative reshuffling than a permanent handover. The USSR was a unified state, where borders between republics were often more symbolic than practical. Few could have predicted that these borders would become the internationally recognized boundaries of independent nations just decades later. When the USSR dissolved in 1991, Crimea became part of an independent Ukraine. For many in Russia, this was a bitter pill to swallow. The peninsula, with its deep historical and cultural ties to Russia, now belonged to a neighbouring country. The tensions that followed led to Crimea's annexation by Russia in 2014, an event that reignited old disputes and drew international condemnation. Why did Khrushchev transfer Crimea? The truth is likely a combination of many factors: his affection for Ukraine, the economic realities of post-war reconstruction, the memory of the Holodomor, and a vision for a less centralized Soviet Union. What remains clear is that this decision, made within the context of the USSR's unity, had far-reaching consequences that its architects could not have foreseen. The story of Crimea serves as a powerful reminder of how history shapes the present. Borders are more than lines on a map. They are symbols of identity, belonging, and power. The decisions of leaders, influenced by personal ties, political strategy, and historical events, ripple through time, affecting generations. As we reflect on Crimea's journey, we are reminded of the importance of understanding history, not just the events themselves, but the motivations and context behind them. The past is never truly past. It lives on in the decisions we make, the conflicts we face, and the stories we tell. If you enjoyed this exploration of Crimea's path through history and want to learn more about similar topics, please consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to like and share this video with friends and family who might also be interested in the fascinating world of history and its practices. Your support helps us create more engaging content that celebrates our shared heritage. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to bringing you more insights into the captivating realm of history.